This might surprise you. Actually, scratch that, it might shock you. But if you're seeing this video right now, it's not by accident. This is a direct sign that they regret taking you lightly. Yes, you. The chosen one. And now? Now they fear your comeback. It's funny how life works, isn't it? People will meet you every day with smiles, small talk, polite nods, but behind the curtain, they've already written your story. They thought they knew your limits. They thought you were just another face in the crowd, harmless, easy to ignore. But here's the truth, chosen ones are never just another face. You carry something rare, something unsettling for those who thrive on control. You've probably noticed this. The subtle ways people underestimate you, overlook you, or outright dismiss you. At work, in social circles, even in family dynamics. It's always the same pattern. But that pattern is about to break. Before we go deep, I want you to do this now, like this video, subscribe, and drop a comment with 77. That's not just for the algorithm. That's to send a signal straight to the universe that you're ready. Every like, every 77 amplifies this comeback energy. And when you replay this video, you're charging up even more. Here's the catch, if you're a true chosen one, you'll watch till the end. Because you'll feel that this message is for you. But if you're not chosen, you'll probably click off before the real truth hits. And that's okay. This is for those who are meant to hear it. Let's begin. Chapter 1, the moment they realized their mistake. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey where the tables turn. But it never arrives the way people imagine. There are no grand speeches, no flashing lights declaring your arrival. No public announcements broadcasting your rise. Instead, it begins with whispers. An uneasy feeling settling into the hearts of those who once dismissed you. A subtle shift in the air, as if reality itself is recalibrating. Slowly, unforgivingly. For years, they watched you with narrowed eyes. Their vision was clouded, not by your shortcomings, but by their own projections. You were labeled as too quiet, too humble, too soft-spoken. In their limited perception, they mistook your silence for irrelevance. They assumed your refusal to engage in drama was a sign of weakness. Your kindness? To them, it was naivety. Harmless. Forgettable. Every time you chose peace over conflict, they counted it as a victory. Every time you walked away instead of retaliating, they chalked it up to cowardice. And with each assumption, they grew more arrogant. More comfortable in their belief that you were beneath them. Easy to control. Easy to overlook. But what they never realized was this: you weren't ignoring them. You were watching. Closely. Patiently. You were never passive. You were absorbing the lessons, the patterns, the hidden agendas. Every insult was logged. Every betrayal was noted. You were gathering data, not holding grudges. Refining your inner strength in silence. While they played small games of ego, you were playing the long game of destiny. And then the shift happened. It wasn't dramatic. At least, not at first. Perhaps it was a small success you achieved, seemingly out of nowhere. A door that opened unexpectedly. A sudden glow in your aura that even the blind could sense. Your energy began to vibrate differently. Sharper. Brighter. Their old tactics, gossip, manipulation, silent treatments suddenly lost their grip. They hit you with the same strategies, but now nothing stuck. The labels slid off. The slights bounced back. You were no longer affected. And that's when the seed of regret was planted in their minds. You see, they had built an entire narrative around the belief that you would remain in the shadows. They crafted an illusion where you were permanently small, always struggling, forever less than. But reality had other plans. Divine timing had other plans. And the very foundation of their illusion began to crack. Now, their careless words echo back at them with a haunting clarity. The jokes they made at your expense suddenly taste bitter in their mouths. The alliances they formed against you begin to feel fragile, hollow, meaningless. They watch as your name surfaces in conversations they were not prepared for. They see you stepping into rooms they fought to keep you out of. But the worst part? The part that twists their stomachs with dread? They can no longer deny your glow. Because this glow is not something external. It's not wealth. It's not status. It's the undeniable energy of someone who has stepped fully into their purpose. It's an inner radiance born from battles fought in silence, victories won in private. And no smear campaign can dim that light. They're not just regretting their past actions. They are now terrified of what your future holds. Because here's the truth, your comeback isn't driven by revenge. It's propelled by alignment. This is cosmic balance in motion. A universal course correction. You are simply embodying the destiny that was always yours. Their regret is not just for what they did, but for underestimating the magnitude of your rise. They thought you were small because it made them feel big. But now, confronted with your undeniable expansion, they are forced to confront their own limitations. They regret taking you lightly because now they see what you've always been, a force of nature. A disruptor of illusions. A mirror that reflects the truth with brutal clarity. Your mere existence challenges their carefully constructed facades. Their power was never real, it existed only in the vacuum of your silence. And now that you've reclaimed your voice, their illusions are crumbling. Every step you take forward reverberates as a silent earthquake beneath their feet. Every win you achieve is a spotlight on their pettiness. And no matter how much they scramble to rewrite history, the truth stands tall, immutable. Your comeback is not an act of revenge, it is an act of restoration, of balance, of justice. The universe itself has tilted in your favor, and their regret is the karmic echo of choices made in arrogance. Remember this, chosen one, the same people who laughed at your struggle will soon be left with no choice but to applaud your rise. But this applause? It won't be for your ego. It will be for their own redemption. A desperate attempt to align with the truth they once denied. But by then, you'll have outgrown the need for their validation. They regret it now. Oh, how deeply they regret it. But the wheel has turned. The hour has come. And it's too late. Chapter 2. The weight of underestimation. There's a strange thing about being underestimated. At first, it stings. You can't help but wonder why people refuse to see you. Why they overlook your potential, belittle your efforts, and casually minimize your presence. It feels personal. It feels isolating. But then, if you're a chosen one, something shifts. You begin to see beyond the surface. You recognize the hidden gift wrapped inside the insult. Underestimation is the perfect camouflage. While they laughed, you learned. While they dismissed you, you developed. Every snub became a lesson. Every rejection, a redirection. They saw your humility and called it weakness. They mistook your compassion for naivety. To them, your patience was a flaw, your silence a sign of insignificance. But they never realized you were being underestimated by design. Not by accident. The universe was keeping you hidden in plain sight. Shielded. Veiled from those who would exploit your gifts before their appointed time. This wasn't a setback. It was your incubation period. While they chased clout and temporary status, you were doing the real work. Quietly. Consistently. For every door they slammed, you found a window they didn't even know existed. For every opportunity they blocked, you carved new paths through sheer will and alignment. They believed their rejection was the final word. But in truth, all they did was refine you, sharpen you, prepare you for the level they could never reach. They didn't understand that chosen ones are self-generating forces of momentum. You don't need external permission to rise. You don't wait for validation to evolve. Your power comes from an internal source they can't tap into, no matter how much they try to imitate it. But now, their underestimation has flipped into their own personal burden. Because here's the paradox: the more they ignored you, the more power you accumulated. Like a dam holding back an unstoppable river, their disbelief only intensified the force of your eventual surge. Their casual dismissal was never a shield against your rise, it was fuel. They were unwittingly setting the stage for their own undoing. And when your breakthrough finally arrived, they were utterly unprepared. Suddenly, the person they once mocked, the one they wrote off as average, is now the person others admire. The one they belittled has become the very standard they are now forced to compare themselves to. Every conversation that includes your name is a quiet reminder of their failure to see what was always there. Their casual disregard has come full circle, boomeranging into a haunting echo of their own short-sightedness. For them, underestimation was a lazy habit, an easy way to soothe their own insecurities without doing the inner work. But for you, it was rocket fuel. Every time they counted you out, you added another layer to your foundation. Every slight became a stepping stone. Every doubt they projected onto you became a mirror reflecting their own limitations. And now? Now they bear the weight of that miscalculation. Every success you achieve is a spotlight exposing their lack of vision. Every compliment you receive, every opportunity you create, every milestone you hit, it all echoes as a direct rebuke of their earlier disdain. Their regret is no longer a faint whisper in the back of their minds. It's a constant, gnawing presence, a weight they can't shake. Because now, they know. They know they had the chance to align with you, to support you, to recognize your brilliance early on. But they chose arrogance over awareness. And it's too late. Because you've already transcended their reach. You're no longer accessible to their projections. Their opinions hold no weight in the altitude you now operate at. They underestimated you, and in doing so, they guaranteed they'd never be able to catch up. Chapter 3: When their narratives collapse. People build narratives about you. Tiny, toxic stories they whisper to themselves in the dark, stories designed to make them feel superior. She's not that smart. He won't get far. They're not as special as they think. These are not statements of fact, they're confessions of insecurity. Projected fears masquerading as judgment. Every time you chose silence over confrontation, they mistook it for agreement. Every time you walked away instead of explaining yourself, they believed they had won. They believed their version of you was the truth. But here's the thing about false narratives: they are fragile. They cannot withstand the relentless force of reality. At first, these stories served them well. They were convenient lies, easy to maintain. A simple script that required no reflection, no growth, no humility. These narratives gave them a temporary sense of control, a shallow illusion of superiority. They convinced themselves they were the authors of your limits, that their words held the power to dictate your future. They found comfort in the delusion that their small minds could contain your vast potential. But reality has a way of shattering illusions. With every silent victory you claimed, with every boundary you expanded beyond their narrow expectations, you tore pages out of the stories they wrote about you. Every accomplishment, every quiet success, every moment you refused to shrink was an eraser to their facades. Slowly, steadily, their narrative began to unravel. What they thought was control was exposed as projection. What they thought was your weakness was revealed to be a mirror reflecting their own limitations. And then, the collapse began. At first, it was denial. They turned their heads away from your wins, dismissed your growth as luck, coincidence, or temporary. They clung to the idea that your success was a fluke, a stroke of random chance that would surely fade. They told themselves comforting lies to avoid facing the harsh truth. But denial is a thin shield. Reality kept knocking, louder each time. Next came confusion. Genuine, unsettling bewilderment. How could someone they had so confidently deemed lesser rise so consistently, so powerfully? How could the person they thought would never surpass them now stand in a place they can't even reach? Their carefully built narrative started to crumble under the weight of evidence. The reality of your growth exposed the falsity of their assumptions. And then came the stage they dreaded most, regret. A heavy, bitter realization began to settle in. They recognized, with growing discomfort, that they had spent more time trying to limit you than investing in their own growth. While they whispered, plotted, and doubted, you were quietly building. While they tried to box you in, you were expanding. Their energy went into suppressing you, while yours went into becoming undeniable. Now they see the truth. Their efforts to keep you small only amplified your expansion. Every obstacle they placed before you became another stepping stone. Every limitation they tried to impose became fuel for your elevation. Their narratives, once so comforting, now suffocate them. Every time they see you, every time your name is mentioned, they are forced to confront the gap between their story and your reality. They can no longer look at you without being reminded of their own stagnation. Your success has become a mirror, reflecting not only your growth but their failure to evolve. The roles have reversed. You are now the undeniable protagonist of the story, and they are left as cautionary side characters, irrelevant footnotes in the saga of your personal evolution. But here's the most powerful part: you didn't have to retaliate. You didn't need to clap back. You didn't lower yourself to their level. You didn't waste time proving them wrong through petty arguments or public confrontations. You simply became undeniable. You allowed your results to speak louder than their rumors, your growth to silence their assumptions. Their collapse is self-inflicted. The same mouths that once whispered your limitations are now silent, choked by the weight of undeniable truth. The stories they spun so confidently have backfired, trapping them in a web of their own making. A prison built from their own words. And still, you rise. Effortlessly. Authentically. Beyond their reach. Beyond their narratives. Because the truth doesn't need to shout to be heard. It simply exists, steady and undeniable. Your existence rewrote their script. And now, whether they like it or not, they are forced to watch the story unfold. A story where you are no longer the target of their projections, but the architect of your own destiny. And they? They are merely spectators. Chapter 4: The Fear Behind Their Smiles. Regret has a cunning way of wearing masks. It doesn't always reveal itself through apologies or heartfelt confessions. More often, it hides behind forced politeness and shallow gestures. To your face, they might still smile, still offer hollow compliments, still pretend they've always supported you. They'll sprinkle small, performative praises, acting as if they always believed in your potential, as if they were in your corner all along. But you see through it. Chosen ones always do. Beneath that smile is fear. A deep, gnawing fear that wasn't there before. Because now, the weight of their misjudgment is undeniable. They remember the smirks, the whispers, the underhanded schemes they crafted in private when they were so certain you would never rise. They gambled on your failure with arrogance, convinced you would stay small, stay silent, stay safely beneath them. And now they know they lost. Their smiles are not warmth. They're shields. Thin, fragile barriers used to hide the growing discomfort of facing someone they once dismissed. Every time they look at you, they're forced to confront their own miscalculations, their shallow judgments, their short-sightedness. And so, they smile, not out of genuine joy, but as a desperate attempt to maintain face. To pretend they are unaffected. To mask the unease gnawing at their pride. But it goes even deeper than that. Their fear isn't just about your success, though your rise certainly unsettles them. It's your presence that truly disturbs them. Every room you enter shifts the atmosphere. Conversations change. Energies realign. Your authenticity slices through their pretenses like a blade of truth. Where they once felt superior, they now feel exposed, vulnerable, disarmed. Your confidence is not aggressive, yet it dismantles their false bravado effortlessly. You don't need to boast. You don't need to confront. Your very existence becomes a spotlight, casting harsh illumination on the insecurities they worked so hard to conceal. Every time you walk in your truth, every time you speak from a place of alignment, they feel the walls of their illusions crumbling beneath them. They fear your insight, your uncanny ability to see through their games, to decode their carefully crafted facades with a single glance. They know you forgive, but you don't forget. And that truth terrifies them more than any form of retaliation ever could. Because you don't seek revenge. You don't lower yourself to their level. Your revenge is your evolution, your comeback, your undeniable growth. That is the reckoning they never prepared for. That is the storm they never saw coming. You don't have to call them out publicly. You don't have to expose their schemes. Your continued rise exposes everything without a single word. Every success is a revelation. Every step forward is an undeniable truth. And that, for them, is the ultimate nightmare. Because here's the truth, they can defend against accusations. They can spin narratives. But they cannot defend against the quiet, unrelenting power of your glow. Your silent elevation is louder than any confrontation could ever be. It dismantles their lies without you lifting a finger. Their smiles? They are not genuine. They are hollow echoes of regret, dressed up in forced politeness. A last-ditch effort to maintain some fragment of dignity in the face of their own downfall. But you see it all. The trembling behind their laughter. The forced enthusiasm in their voices. The way they avoid meeting your gaze for too long, knowing they stand exposed. And you? You remain unmoved. Unshaken. You don't gloat. You don't shrink. You don't diminish yourself to soothe their discomfort. You continue to rise with grace, with ease, with the calm assurance of someone who has outgrown the need for their validation. Because you were never playing their game. You were always playing the long game of purpose. And now they fear what they can no longer control. Your rise is inevitable. And they're forced to watch it unfold, helpless. Chapter 5. The comeback they can't control. This is where the story shifts permanently. This is the moment where the personal becomes universal. Your comeback isn't just a private victory anymore, it's cosmic. It's a ripple effect of alignment, stretching far beyond your own life, restoring what was always meant for you. This is not just your rise, it's a recalibration of balance, a divine correction in the grand scheme of things. The energy of your comeback is not limited to you alone, it reverberates through spaces, people, and timelines you've never even touched. For so long, they wanted you contained, neatly packaged, predictable, manageable, a non-threat. They were comfortable as long as you fit into the small narrative they crafted. They tried to box you in with labels, roles, expectations, and projections. To them, it was easier to diminish you than to expand their own perception. But what they didn't realize is this: chosen ones are never meant to fit into man-made narratives. You are tethered to a higher blueprint, a divine design that no human opinion can override. Their attempts to limit you, to shrink you, to control the trajectory of your destiny, those were not just miscalculations. They were futile battles against divine timing itself. They thought their influence could halt your purpose, but all they did was delay the inevitable. And even the delay only made your eventual rise more powerful, more undeniable. And now, here you are. Your comeback is not fueled by spite, not by revenge, not by a need to prove anyone wrong. No, it's fueled by clarity. Pure, undeniable clarity of who you are, why you're here, and what you're capable of. That clarity is a force far more powerful than any external validation they once dangled in front of you like a carrot on a stick. You don't chase approval anymore. You've outgrown even the need for it. You've outgrown their boxes. You've surpassed their projections. You've expanded beyond the limits of their comprehension. Now you operate on a frequency so elevated, so pure, that their old strategies, once effective in keeping you small, are utterly irrelevant. They don't know how to deal with you anymore. You no longer play by their rules because you've transcended their game entirely. You're not even in their arena anymore. And this realization? It terrifies them. They watch as you forge new alliances, create opportunities seemingly out of thin air, manifest abundance without their approval. Every success you achieve without their involvement is a direct threat to their illusion of control. You become self-sustaining. You've broken free from the need for external permission. Their old tactics, gossip, gatekeeping, manipulation, bounce off you like pebbles against a mountain. The harsh truth they're now forced to confront is this: their control was always an illusion. A fragile construct they clung to because it made them feel important. But you shattered that illusion by simply existing in your truth. By rising authentically, unapologetically. And now, that illusion lies in pieces at their feet with no hope of being rebuilt. You are the comeback they can't contain, the shift they can't stop, the force they can no longer manipulate. With every step you take forward, their grip weakens. With every move you make in alignment with your higher self, their relevance fades further into the background. They are spectators now, observers of a reality they tried so hard to prevent. Their power over you was never real. It existed only in the spaces where you doubted yourself. Those shadowy corners of uncertainty where their words once echoed. But now that those spaces are filled with clarity and purpose, there's nothing left for them to hold on to. Your comeback is inevitable, unstoppable, preordained. They see it, they feel it, and that's why they regret it now. The regret is visceral. It gnaws at them in ways they can't articulate. Because deep down, they know they helped create the very storm they now fear. But as always, it's too late. The wheel of destiny has turned. And this time, it's in your favor. Their regret will linger. A constant, silent witness to their own short-sightedness. But you're already too far ahead. Already soaring beyond the reach of their narratives. And this comeback, it's only the beginning. Chapter 6, The Unspoken Reverence. There's a phenomenon that happens when a chosen one fully steps into their power. It doesn't come with loud applause or public confessions. No, it unfolds in whispers, in lingering glances, in subtle yet undeniable shifts. The same people who once mocked you, doubted you, underestimated you, suddenly, they watch you in a very different light. But they won't say it out loud. Their pride won't let them. Ego chains their tongues, even as their hearts beat with the quiet thud of realization. Yet, despite their silence, their actions, their body language, their very energy betray the truth they refuse to voice. They now hold an unspoken reverence for you. It's not about worship, not about flattery. This isn't admiration born of trend or convenience. It's deeper, heavier, more uncomfortable for them to sit with. They recognize now, in the quiet spaces of their own minds, that you operate on a level far beyond their grasp. They see your growth. They see your resilience. They see the glow you carry, not as a stroke of luck, not as a fleeting coincidence, but as the undeniable result of your unwavering alignment with divine purpose. But they'll never admit it to you. Never to your face. Instead, it leaks out in small, almost imperceptible ways. They pay closer attention when you speak, even if they pretend otherwise. They hesitate before brushing off your ideas, where once they were quick to dismiss. They start to mirror your phrases, mimic your mindset, subtly trying to replicate the energy you radiate. They lurk quietly in the backdrop of your success, watching, analyzing, hoping that by mere proximity to your frequency, some of your elevation might rub off on them. They try to understand how you did it, how someone they once deemed lesser has now become the very embodiment of strength, clarity, and influence. But the truth is, they can't decode it. Your glow wasn't manufactured, it was earned in solitude, cultivated through inner battles they've never faced. They seek shortcuts to a frequency you bled to master. And here's the beautiful irony: you did nothing to force this shift. You never demanded their respect. You never chased their acknowledgement. You didn't fight for a seat at their table. You simply became who you were always meant to be. You aligned with your truth. You moved with purpose. You chose evolution over validation. And in that simple yet profound act of alignment, the reverence became inevitable. But for them, this newfound respect is bittersweet, because it comes with the bitter aftertaste of regret. They remember, they remember the moments when they had the chance to stand with you, to support you, to believe in you when it mattered. They remember the snide comments, the dismissive smirks, the whispered alliances they formed in dark corners, thinking they could dim your light. And now, as they witness your undeniable expansion, they are haunted by those choices. Each new level you ascend reminds them of the opportunities they squandered, the bridges they burned, the moments they chose ego over empathy. What once seemed harmless is now the reason they're left watching from the sidelines. They now understand a truth that cuts deeper than any insult. They never had the power to define you. Your power was never tied to their approval. Your worth was never up for their negotiation. And this realization humbles them in ways they cannot articulate, cannot even fully process. Their carefully constructed narratives crumble in the face of your undeniable rise. Their reverence will remain unspoken. It will sit heavy in the air, present in their softened tones, their awkward pauses, their stolen glances. It will linger in the way they hesitate before speaking against you, in the way they tread carefully around your name. Their silence, once born of arrogance, is now a shield to hide their regret. And you move forward, unbothered, untouched, unapologetically radiant, because the path you walk was never about them. It was always about fulfilling the divine assignment etched into your soul. Their opinions were never a factor in your destiny. Their approval was never the fuel of your ascent. You were never seeking their validation. You were always walking your own divine path. And now, they're simply catching a glimpse of the light you were always destined to carry. Chapter 7: The Legacy of the Comeback. This is where the journey shifts from personal victory to generational impact. Your comeback, Chosen One, is no longer just about you. It has evolved into something far greater. It has become a legacy, a blueprint, a living testament that others can look to when they feel overlooked, dismissed, underestimated. You are no longer just an individual navigating struggle. You are now a symbol of what is possible when divine timing aligns with relentless faith and unwavering self-belief. The same way you once searched for proof that rising above betrayal was possible, now you are that proof. The evidence. The walking, breathing embodiment of triumph over adversity. Your story is no longer a quiet struggle in the shadows. It's a loud, undeniable declaration. A powerful broadcast of what happens when you choose not to fold, not to shrink, not to surrender. But more than that, it's a disruption. Your legacy disrupts the systems that were designed to keep souls like yours suppressed. Systems built on gatekeeping, manipulation, and false hierarchies. You have shown, with every graceful step forward, that authenticity outlasts politics. That purpose outshines pretense. That spiritual alignment dismantles even the most elaborate illusions of control. Your rise wasn't orchestrated by favors, by connections, or by pandering to the status quo. No, your rise was inevitable because it was written into your destiny. Preordained. A divine appointment that no amount of sabotage could cancel. And now, every step you take leaves an imprint. A visible path for others to follow. You are the lighthouse in their storm, the landmark that whispers, "It can be done." But let's be clear, this legacy wasn't a gift handed to you with ease. It was forged in the fires of adversity. Molded through countless nights of doubt, through seasons of suffocating isolation, through battles so fierce and personal that only you and the divine know their true depth. Every scar you carry is not a wound, it is a signature of your becoming. Every lesson carved into your journey has become a brick in the unshakable foundation of your empire. Those who once laughed at your struggle, they now watch you in quiet awe. They observe your moves, trying to decode your formula, desperate to reverse engineer what was never a formula at all, but a calling. A sacred frequency they can imitate but never replicate. Because you understand something they never did, this isn't about following steps. This is about attuning to a frequency. A vibration of truth that cannot be faked, cannot be bought, cannot be stolen. You didn't rise because you played their game better. You rose because you refused to play small, even when they tried to make you feel invisible. You refused to dim your light, no matter how dark the room became. And now, your legacy is a beacon, a lighthouse piercing through the fog of collective doubt, guiding others to their own inner sovereignty. They regret underestimating you. They fear your comeback. But the real shift, the one that keeps them up at night, is this: they now recognize your legacy. Whether they admit it or not, they see you for who you truly are. This is no longer about superficial success. This is about sovereignty. About standing tall in your truth, owning your space without apology, and inspiring others to reclaim theirs. You are not just a success story. You are a liberation code. And for them, the regret is a heavy weight. A constant reminder of the opportunities they had to walk with you, but chose to squander. While they were busy trying to confine you within their narrow expectations, you were quietly building a foundation that will outlast their relevance. Chosen One, your comeback is not a chapter in your story. It is an era. A seismic shift that ripples across timelines. An era where your name is no longer associated with struggle, but with triumph. Where your journey becomes a template, a sacred roadmap for others who are ready to break free. The legacy of your comeback is a ripple effect that will touch lives you'll never meet. It will ignite courage in hearts you'll never see. Your rise becomes the catalyst for others to rise. Your truth becomes the permission slip for others to embrace their own. This is your divine inheritance. A legacy far bigger than anything they could have imagined. It transcends their opinions, their regrets, their attempts to rewrite the past. Their regret? It will linger, a quiet echo in the background. But it no longer holds power. Because you are too busy leading the way forward. And your legacy? It has only just begun. Chosen one, now you see the full picture. Their regret is loud, but your comeback is louder. Remember, this was never about proving them wrong. This is about proving yourself right. Your rise is not fueled by bitterness, but by divine purpose. Their underestimation was simply the backdrop for your revelation. Now it's your time to stand fully in your power, unapologetic, unshaken, undeniable. So, if you feel this message in your soul, do this now. Like this video. Leave a comment with 77 to send the signal to the universe. Subscribe to stay aligned with this energy. And play this video on repeat to amplify the frequency of your comeback. Only true chosen ones stay till the end. And if you're here right now, you just confirmed who you are. Your era has begun.